No matter where we live, we all breathe the same air. A typical human takes around 25,000 breaths a day. That's a lot of air coming in and out of our lungs, air that we often take for granted. So what's exactly in the air we breathe? Namaste everyone, my name is Ruchi dhital and I feel very much honored to be one of the top 15 finalists of this speech competition organized by Green Clean Dhangadhi. Besides being composed of oxygen, nitrogen and various other gases, did you know that the air that we breathe consists of very small forms of plastics, also known as microplastics? We don't see it and yet it is there. We don't feel it and yet we have problems. In fact, you may be inhaling up to 16.2 plastic bits in every single hour. And that's equivalent to breathing in an entire credit card every single week. Dangerous, right? One thing is that this pandemic that we have experienced has placed a great significance on something we found so trivial, that is, our ability to breathe. Have you ever wondered what happens to the plastic that we just randomly threw away? Since its invention, we have produced over 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic. So what did we do with all this waste? 9% recycled, 12% burned, and 79% of it is still sticking around. A lot of it goes to the ocean, around 8 million tons a year. In 2018, a dead sperm whale was found in Spain, and he had eaten 32 kilograms of plastic bags, a net, and a drum. The tragedy of plastic does not end here. The outcome of the journey of a plastic decides the fate of our planet. In order to understand where a plastic ends up, we must first explore their origins. They are formed in oil refinery with the chemical bondings of oil and gas molecules. It takes agonizing 1,000 years for a plastic to decompose, and most of the plastics don't biodegrade, which means they are destined to break down into smaller and smaller pieces, resulting into microplastics. Microplastics are smaller than 5 millimeters, and they are formed when the plastic waste is exposed to UV radiation and then it crumbles into smaller pieces. Most of us think microplastics as an environmental problem, but various research and studies have found out that microplastic can be a health problem as well. Microplastics are smaller enough to be inhaled by human pulmonary system, and once these plastics get into our body, they have quite a big number of effect. Some of the microplastics can be filtered out when we sneeze, cough, or blow our nose, but the smaller microplastics reach and remain in our respiratory system, and continuous exposure to plastic can lead to inflammations and respiratory tract infections. Microplastics are everywhere, but there's something that we can do about it everywhere we go. And it starts with the 3 R's that we are familiar with: reduce, reuse, and recycle. But let's try to update this reduce with refuse. Refuse using any kinds of plastics. Refuse using straws. Refuse using coffee cups. But if you can't completely refuse it, you can reduce it. In Nepal, the government had announced plastic ban for the 3rd time because the last 2 times, the announcement was only limited within the papers. In 2017, my hometown Dhankuta was declared as the cleanest city and a plastic-free zone. But it lasted barely for a year and the consistency level dropped down to 0. According to one of the environmentalists, one of the reasons why this plastic ban is not working in our country is because of the lack of homework. The government needs to have proper discussions with the stakeholders, with the plastic producers, manufacturers, users, and law enforcers. A plastic-free lifestyle may seem impossible, but every small step can make a huge difference. For instance, you can avoid using single-use packaging and take a reusable container instead. Start storing your food in a glass or metal jar. And drying your clothes in a machine can release thousands of microplastics, so you can just simply let your clothes dry in the air. Packaging is another great contributor of microplastic pollution, so you can take your own cloth bags in order to pack your groceries. Every small step helps, and even if you can't do everything, every small bit counts. Very little drops of water makes the big mighty ocean, and remember, there's only one earth and there are many number of steps that you can take in order to prevent it from getting worse. Thank you.